Hello everyone, today we are going to talk about one of the major types. First we will move to the objectives of this presentation. With this presentation you can gain a good knowledge about the exocrine and the endocrine gland, and also you can get a good understanding about the differences between nervous and the endocrine system, and also you will be able to learn about the different types of endocrine glands present in the body. The last one, you can gain the knowledge about the different negative feedback mechanisms which is present in the human body. So those are the objectives of this presentation. So when we think about the coordination of the body, the coordination of the body can be coordinated by two systems. The first one is the nervous system, so it is mediated by the central nervous system, and the other one is the chemical coordination, so this is called the endocrine system. From this presentation we are going to talk about this chemical coordinations or the endocrine system. So when you think about the endocrine system, it consists with endocrine glands, and they are going to produce chemical messenger substances called hormones. So these hormones or chemical messenger substance, they are normally carried from bloodstream. When you think about the endocrine gland, which relates to the endocrine system, first we will look at what is gland. So normally a gland is an organ that releases or secretes substances. So normally these secretions are the chemicals which are produced from the cells in the glands, and they are going to pass out from the cell. So after passing out these secretion from the cells in the glands, they are going to travel into somewhere else in the body. Then we will move to what are the two types of glands which is present in our body. The first one is exocrine gland, and second one is the endocrine gland. The first we will look at what is exocrine gland. Normally in the exocrine gland, what happens, they are secrete their products through a tube or a duct. So it means, as example, the salivary glands in the mouth secrete saliva down from the salivary ducts, and tear glands normally secrete tears through ducts to the surface of the eye. And also when you think about the digestive system, in the pancreas, what happens, there are several digestive enzymes are produced in the pancreas, and they are going to secrete into the food through the pancreas duct. And also in the liver also there's a digestive juice called bile is produced, and they are going to store in the gallbladder, and this bile then going to pass down through bile duct onto the food. So likewise there are so many exocrine glands present in our body. So then we will move what is endocrine gland next. When think about the endocrine glands, normally they do not have the ducts in these endocrine glands. So what these endocrine gland is doing, they are secreting hormones into the blood vessels through these glands. These hormones are carried in the blood, and they can travel to the areas of the body. They usually only affect certain tissues or organs. We call them as target organs. Target organs also can be long distance from the gland that made the hormone. Hormone only affects a tissue or organ if the cells of the tissue organ have a special chemical receptors for their particular hormone. So for example, normally the hormone insulin, it affects the cells of the liver which have only insulin receptors. Otherwise, they will not able to react with these particular hormones. So those are the endocrine glands. Then we will look at what are the differences between nervous and the endocrine system. So normally in the nervous systems, they work by nerve impulses which are transmitted through nerve cells. Normally this transmission is occurred due to the chemicals called neurotransmitters at the synapses gap. So when think about the endocrine system, this works by under the control of the hormones, and these are transmitted through the bloodstream. And the next one is nerve impulses. They are travel somewhat fast, and usually it's having some sort of an instant effect. But when think about the endocrine system, these hormones, they are travel more slowly, and generally it's take longer time to act. So the next difference is sometimes the nervous systems, the responses is usually short-lived responses it has, but endocrine system, the responses are normally, it lasts longer period of time. The last difference between the nervous and the endocrine system is the impulses, which is relates to the nervous system. They acts on individual cells, and they have very localized effects. So normally they act on individual cells such as muscle fibers, and some sort of a localized effects it's with the relates to the nervous system. But in the endocrine system, these hormones, it has a widespread effect on different organs. In the endocrine system, they only these hormones only affect on the particular tissues or organs according to these chemical receptors. But these hormones, they are carried through the bloodstream to all over the areas of the body. So these target organs, sometimes they can be long distance from the gland. So even though they are located at the long distance away from the gland, these can be transmitted through the bloodstream. So that's why we can call them, it has a widespread effect when think about the nervous system. So those are the differences between nervous and the endocrine system. So then we will move to what are the functions relates to these different types of the endocrine glands present in the body. Now first we will look at about the pituitary glands. So pituitary gland is normally found at the base of the brain, and it secretes a number of hormones, including several that regulate the reproduction. So normally when you think about the hormones which regulate the reproduction are the FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, and LH, luteinizing hormone. So those are the hormones which is produced from pituitary glands that regulate the reproduction. Other than these, the pituitary glands also it contains neurons linked to the part of the brain called the hypothalamus. So some of hormones that can be produced under the control of the brain. So for the example, for the hormones which is produced under the control of the brain are anti-diuretic hormone. So these are, the short form is ADH hormone. So these are made in the cell bodies of neurons in the hypothalamus. So what happens is it is secreted from the ends of the fibers of this neuron, and then they are going to store in the pituitary gland. It means they are normally producing in the hypothalamus with the help of the hypothalamus. but they are going to store in the pituitary gland. So the target organs of this ADH are the kidneys. So these ADH then it acts as the hormone which involved in control the water content of the blood. It means the receptors in the hypothalamus monitor the water potential of the blood, and it controls the ADH released by the pituitary. So it goes to regulate the reabsorption of water to the blood. So this is actually, it shows how this nervous system and the endocrine system can sometimes act together to coordinate the particular response. So other than these hormones which regulate reproduction and other hormones which regulate the water content in our body, so another type of hormone also it is produced by the pituitary gland, that is growth hormone. So actually this growth hormone, it speeds up, it needs to speeds up the rate of the growth and development in the children. So these are some examples for the hormones which is produced by the pituitary gland. So then we will move to the next endocrine gland, that is about the thyroid gland. So when you think about thyroid, it's a gland which is present in the neck, and it's shaped a little like a butterfly, and it secretes several hormones including thyroxine. So when you think about thyroxine, it actually speeds up the metabolic rate of the body. So normally the metabolic rate is the rate at which the cells of the body carry out their chemical reactions. So that's the metabolic rate. What is the thyroxine is done, it speeds up the metabolic rate of the body. So when think about the release of this thyroxine, so it is also under control of the hypothalamus of the brain. So it sometimes it's same as what happened with the pituitary gland also. I mean, so the release of the thyroxine is under the control of the hypothalamus of the brain. Then we will move to the next endocrine gland, that is pancreas. Normally the pancreas is both an endocrine and an exocrine gland, exocrine organ. So why it's called both endocrine and exocrine organ? So normally these pancreas is going to produce some chemical messengers like the hormones. So this is related with the endocrine system. And also when you think about this exocrine, using pancreatic duct, they are secreting enzymes into the small intestine. So we can tell it as exocrine organ even. So in the pancreas, when you think about the endocrine process in this relates to this pancreas, it secretes two hormones called insulin and glucagon. So both of which are involved in the regulation of blood glucose. So at the very first I told you, it also exocrine organ. So this pancreas, it secretes enzymes to the pancreatic duct into the small intestine. So that's why I told you that is act as the exocrine organ. So when think about this pancreas, so both of these endocrine and exocrine process are involved with the functions of this pancreas. Then we will move to the next endocrine system, that is testes and the ovaries. Normally when think about the sex organs of males and females, they produce sex cells, it means gametes, and they are also the endocrine organs. So normally both the testes and the ovaries, these endocrine glands, they make hormones which involve in the control of the reproduction. So when think about the testes, that it will produce testosterone hormone. So it actually controls the development of male secondary sexual characteristics. And when think about the ovaries producing two types of hormones like estrogen and the progesterone. So estrogen, what it's doing is it controls the development of female secondary sexual characteristics. But progesterone, what its control is, it regulates the menstrual cycle of a female. So that's about the endocrine gland, which is called testes and the ovaries. So then we will move how we can control the metabolic rate of our body with the help of the thyroid gland by releasing the thyroxine hormone. You know, the thyroid glands, it makes number of hormones, and one of the hormone which is produced from this thyroid gland is thyroxine. So the thyroid gland is the only endocrine gland that stores large amounts of hormone. So what happens with the other glands? The all other glands, they make their hormones when it's required. I mean, when it's required at the particular time. But the thyroid contains about, it says, 100-day supply of thyroxine. So it's somewhat different from the other endocrine glands present in the body. So other than this, thyroxine contains element called iodine. So iodine, when the you have heard, I think, this iodine. So this iodine, if the lack of the iodine in the body, in the diet, means it's caused to enlarge the thyroid gland. So we call this particular disorder, it's called as the goiter. So this happened due to the lack of the iodine in the thyroid gland. So you know that these thyroid gland, and also when it releases the thyroxine from the thyroid gland, it normally causes to control the basal metabolic rate in our body. So normally thyroxine increases the basal metabolic rate, or the BMR, stimulating the cells to respire aerobically to produce more ATP. That is the function of the thyroxine which is produced from the thyroid gland. So sometimes the body needs to increase its metabolic rate in various situations, such as during the exercise, during in the cold surroundings. So ATP, then what happens? When ATP can be broken down to produce to heat, then it can maintain the body temperature at the cold surroundings, and also during the exercise even. So then it will using this ATP, it will supply the energy for the exercises. So likewise, so many functions are relates with this thyroxine hormone. So thyroxine also, other than this, thyroxine also it causes to increase the production or the synthesis of protein in the body. So normally this protein, actually it's needed for the normal growth and development in the children. So those are the very prominent functions which relates to the thyroxine hormone. When think about the basal metabolic rate in the body, so when it need not to have a changes in this BMR, so this BMR change within a very exact limits. But when we need to increase the BMR in the body in very up to a higher level, so what's happened? This thyroid, it's going to be released this thyroxine hormone to increase this basal metabolic rate in the body. So when think about releasing thyroxine from the thyroid gland, it is not just a one step, it is a series of processes there. So it means it is producing series of hormones to release the thyroxine from the thyroid gland. So first what happened, when the hypothalamus in the brain detects the slightest drop in the BMR, it means if the BMR is going to be decreased in the body, what happens? Then it responds by making hormone called thyrotropin releasing hormone that we call as TRH. So what happens? This TRH then travels the short distance from the hypothalamus to the pituitary. So then it's go to the pituitary. So in here what happens? It stimulates the release another type of hormone. So we call that particular hormone as thyroid stimulating hormone, that is TSH. So this TSH then going to be produced from the pituitary gland. So then TSH passes into the bloodstream and then it is reached to the thyroid, and after that only it stimulates synthesis and the release of thyroxine from the thyroid gland. This is how this thyroxine is going to be produced when it decreases the basal metabolic rate in the body. So then thyroxine causes the metabolic rate to return to the normal, and then what happens? In turn, what happens? This mechanism is going to be switches off production of TRH, TSH, and stop the release of thyroxine. So that's how it's going to be control this thyroxine production from the thyroid gland when it changes the basal metabolic rate in the body. So then we'll move to the what is the mean by this negative feedback mechanism. So actually when think about the negative feedback mechanism, it's a control of mechanism in the body. So during the negative feedback, a change in the body is detected and it starts a process to return conditions to a normal. So normally many conditions are monitored and maintained by negative feedback, including metabolic rate and the body temperature, and also the control of the water content of the blood by the Adh hormone. So likewise, so many negative feedbacks we can see in our body. So when think about this negative feedback, the information pathway of these negative feedback mechanisms, it forms a loop. So it's also known as a negative feedback loop. So then we will look at the negative feedback loop, which can use to control the blood glucose level in the body. So when we think about the negative feedback of the glucose level controlling mechanism in the body, so what's happened with when the blood glucose level is going to be increased in the blood, it promotes the insulin is going to be released from the pancreas. So this insulin, what is going to be done is it targets the liver. So what it is doing in this liver is they are going to convert glucose into the glycogen. So it will reduce the glucose level in the blood. So when then we will think about what happened with the low blood glucose level in the blood. So when it is going to, the glucose level is going to be decreased in the blood, so then the pancreas is going to produce glucagon hormone. So then this glucagon hormone target the liver, and in that liver what this enzyme is going to be done is they are going to convert the glycogen into the glucose. So then this glucose released into the blood. So what happened eventually, the blood glucose level, it can be increased. So likewise there's a good control mechanisms in the body when there's a high glucose level in the blood, and also when there's a low glucose level in the blood. So likewise there are so many control mechanisms or the negative feedbacks within the body to control our body functions at a controlled level. So then we will move to the what is the effect of a growth hormone regards the growth and development of the body. You know, the growth and development of the body is under the control of hormones. You know that the growth hormone, it is secreted from the pituitary glands and stimulates growth, cell division and also regeneration of cells. So particularly this hormone, it is very much important in childhood and also it can be used to treat children with having growth disorders. It means some children, they cannot attain their particular growth at their particular ages. So then what happens? It can treat with this growth hormone for such kind of growth disorders. So when think about this production of growth hormone, so normally causing an increase in the metabolic rate, it needs this thyroxine hormone. So causing an increase in metabolic rate by the thyroxine, this thyroxine is going to increase the production of growth hormone. So other than this, sometimes when human become sexually mature, which means it at the puberty, so many sex hormones like testosterone, estrogen, so they are going to be secreted and they are doing some several effects on the body even. So these effects actually includes and increase the production of the growth hormone. You know that sometimes with these sex hormones going to controls the development of secondary sexual characteristics in the male and the female. So eventually what happened, these effects actually with the effect of these sex hormones, this is going to increase the production of the growth hormone. So then we will move to the next endocrine gland, that is adrenal. So in here we are going to talk about the adrenaline hormone, which is secreted from this adrenal gland. So normally this adrenaline hormone, we also call this hormone as the fight or flight hormone. When think about the adrenaline acts as a number of targets, organs and the tissues that preparing the body for action. In animals other than humans, this action usually means dealing with an attack by an enemy, where the animal can stay and fight or run away. This is why adrenaline is known as the fight or the flight hormone. This is not the situation actually. This human can encounter this adrenaline hormone. Other than this situation, this fight or fight action, there are so many plenty of times that we can see that adrenaline is releasing. So when think about those situations, when the body prepares for action, so normally its muscles need a good supply of oxygen and glucose for respiration. So adrenaline, what they are going to do is they are trigger several changes to ensure this situation. So it means we'll see what are those several changes that can trigger by this adrenaline for preparing for such kind of action. So the first one is it can increase the breathing rate, and the breathing rate can become deeper, taking more oxygen into the body. So the next situation is this adrenaline can make faster the heartbeats, sending more blood to the muscles, and because of that it can receive more glucose and oxygen for respiration. Other than this, it can divert away the blood from intestine and into the muscles. So those things also very much need for a good supply of glucose for a respiration to prepare for such kind of a action. So other than this, in the liver what happens, the stored carbohydrate is also going to change into the glucose and it's released into the blood. So these muscle cells, then it can absorb more glucose and use it for respiration. So this action also it can induced by the adrenaline hormone. So then here it mentioned it stores carbohydrate, change into the glucose and it's going to release into the blood for respiration. So it's done for to give a more ATP for the quick action. So other than this, these adrenaline triggers the dilating the pupil to increase the visual sensitivity to the particular movement. And other than this, because of this adrenaline action, mental awareness also is increased to react fast for a particular urgent activity. So those are the changes which can trigger by the adrenaline hormone to act for a particular particular type of actions. This sometimes it may be a very urgent actions for body to be performed. So those are the functions of the adrenalines which can use to control our body activity at the time it needs. So I think you will have a good idea about